Dear people worldwide, may I have your attention for a moment. I understand that the general attention span or concentration capacity is particularly low, so I'll need to convey this message in a short as possible time frame. If you haven't been awakened after 9/11 or the coronavirus scam, which tells you that the world is governed by intelligence services, and innocent civilians will literally be bombed to shape their real-life soap opera, you may now realize, after years of consecutive insane intelligence projects, such as the obviously corrupted Russia-Ukraine war and the absurd developments we now witness between Israel and Hamas, where once again innocent civilians are caught in the crossfire, and that the true reasons for these conflicts remain hidden from the masses. They are misled by the mainstream narrative, which provides them with an easily to debunk one-sided story. This has been, of course, known to the awakened among us for quite some time, but it was again explained in detail last week by the Russian propagandist Putin, of course, for the whole world to see. Now, whether we believed what he says or not, what he states is that he is open to negotiation and does not want any further escalation or war. This has been heard and seen by the whole world, supported by a fairly logical and clear reasoning, enough for everyone to judge whether escalation or war is even justified. Despite this intelligence operation and where this escalation is actually being fueled from or is coming from. And of course, as expected, we also see the one-sided, short-sighted reasoning and treatment of the situation from European and American governments. They will willfully ignore this extended hand and dismiss Putin's argument as a 2-hour show of lies or other claims. And they will simply continue this war, which could potentially mean the end of humanity, as they are now threatening each other with nuclear weapons, of course, and thus the painfully cycle of resets and the deliberate destruction of humanity becomes painfully clear. It's clear how little respect governments worldwide truly have for their citizens. Take, for example, the one-sided narrative we receive about the absurd conflict between Israel and Hamas. Israel literally created Hamas, of course, as part of their intelligence operation and has been conducting it ever since. These intelligence services shape organizations like Hamas and thus carry out bombings on their own population to justify their continuation of the genocide policy in this conflict that has supposedly been playing out for almost 3/4 of a century. And already many thousands of innocent Palestinians and also Israeli civilians have died due to the bizarre policy and regime of the devilish Israeli government, which is literally wiping out an entire region and its people. A series of facts in which all governments worldwide are turning a blind eye, allowing this to continue. Just like the parasitic and of course collapsed financial system which they are desperately trying to cover up, it is pure terror against the own population, which takes place in this human farm that has been built for us in this world. We live in a slave world, full of slave money, ruled by dark forces that surpass humanity. Look around you. No one around you agrees with the global developments, and no one wants these war or conflicts either. However, we think we are hopelessly powerless and have to witness all of this from the sidelines or something. But we are so much more powerful in our capabilities than we think. We literally need to realize what is really going on here and really investigate the truth, and also don't let it pass anymore. Keep pointing out the truth every time, and from that moment, after we establish the truth, simply continue to reason and judge, but only after the truth has been established. Who bombed the Nord Stream pipeline? Of course it was the CIA. The foot soldiers of this globally operating and ruling elite. A satanic club. Whether they worship Satan in some kind of dark church community or not, the fact remains that they have been conspiring for decades and have been squeezing humanity to its maximum capacity. Look at how we are struggling to just get 1% of the money that has been made available for us. Look how the world economy has turned out to be a rigged game, and who has been implementing this policy all this time. It has always been, or they are always the same parties, of course, that continue to profit massively from our human misery and downfall. How is this possible, people? What is really going on here? I recently came across a particularly enlightening video about all of this, and whether you are religious or not, realize that the people pulling the strings in the world do indeed have a very strict belief structure. Knowledge is power, and since they have the power, you can wonder with what knowledge did they gain this power. Check it out.
You don't know what you don't know. But when you know, you know. Here's where I begin with my message. I recently had a great revelation and discovered an important truth that blew my mind. The truth is, Jesus Christ already returned and reigned for 1,000 years. What we are told in history about the Dark Ages is false and comes straight from the pit of hell. The truth is, the Great Tribulation already happened. The mark of the beast already happened. And the rapture already happened as well. We are in a period of time where Satan has been loosed for a little season. This has been written before our very eyes the whole time. We aren't even in the year 2022. Satan has changed the times and calendar to make us all think that we are in the year 2022. The truth is, sometime in the late 1800s, Satan added 1,000 years to the calendar as to deceive us all into thinking that it's been almost 2,000 years since Christ began his ministry. I left a bunch of links in the description of this video so that you can research this matter for yourself. I have already done the work of searching out all the links that you need to come to the same conclusion as I have, if you just go through all the links I've provided. Only a fool will jump to conclusions without looking fully into a topic that they haven't heard before. So let's go through a list of history that we are not taught in public school or church. 33 AD, Jesus was crucified, resurrected and ascends back up to heaven. The Boudica War was in 60 AD. Rome was burned in 64 AD. Various earthquakes happened between 33 AD to 69 AD. Jesus ben Ananias shouts for 7 years, "Woe to Jerusalem," before the Jewish revolt. In 59 AD, there was a total eclipse of the sun. In 65 AD, there was a cross-shaped star over Jerusalem for a year. False prophets were paid money to say these are good signs to the Jews. In 65 AD, there was a comet in the sky for a year. In 69 AD, there were 2 suns seen in the sky. In 69 AD, the moon eclipsed. It was blood and black and other colors. Simon Magus, the false prophet, goes to Rome and is worshipped as a god for performing many miracles. He dies in 65 AD. Let's talk about the apostles who were martyred. 62 AD, James. 67 AD, Paul. 65 AD, Thaddeus. 70 AD, Matthias. 70 AD, Bartholomew. 70 AD, Andrew. And Peter in 67 AD. In 67 AD was Nero's attempted murder of John the Revelator that failed, and he was exiled to the island of Patmos. In 66 AD was the Jewish revolt. In 70 AD was the siege of Jerusalem. In 73 AD, the Masada siege happened. 3.5 years between the first and second, and the other 3.5 years between the second and third. This actually fulfills Daniel's prophecy. All Mosaic covenant is fulfilled during this time. In 65 AD, the armies are seen waging war in the heavens and around the city. In 73 AD was Jesus' second coming. There are other miraculous phenomenons recorded, including a cow giving birth to a lamb, a solid metal door being opened by itself, a supernatural voice saying they were leaving the temple, and an unearthly tumult and wind following. In 70 AD, the Christians flee to Pella when the Romans arrive at Jerusalem. Christ's millennial kingdom began in 73 AD and lasted till 1073 AD. Amazing buildings were constructed. Mostly peaceful Christian lifestyles occurred, but it seems like some resistance was resulting in punishment, judging by some of the landscapes. 1073 AD is when Satan was unbound. The saints and Jesus leave to somewhere as they reigned from earth. Satan changes times and laws, possibly to 1776 AD in our time. The mud flood happens as we're not sure of the cause. Anyone not going along with this transition was put into mental asylums. The orphan trains were set up. The theory of evolution was written as fake history began, such as the space hoax that was created to hide God. The Illuminati sets up in the year 1776 when America was founded. Freemasons set up and take all the best kingdom buildings for themselves. Powerful families were installed and sought out to carry out Satan's deceptions. World fairs were set up for indoctrination and fabricated excuses to tear.
Definitely, Chad. We are in the little season, for sure.
Down the beautiful buildings. Various fires occurred to the kingdom buildings. Various wars. Both sides were funded by the powerful families such as the Rothschilds. Rockefeller poison. The allopathic medical scam was set up. The women's liberation begins. The breakdown of the family unit starts. The beginning of work for both parents. The public school system was introduced. The false money system was set up to keep us in perpetual debt, including the death pledge mortgages. The fake Holocaust comes into play to usher in fake Israel so they are able to set up as a nation. Put into our skies and in food and water and in our bodies. The church system, tax-exempt 501c3, sets up to control church teachings. Religion created by Catholicism. The Jewish religion was created. The rat race begins as the 9 to 5, 5 days a week.
I'm not the only one. There are a lot more other truthers out there who are being censored as well. So,
until the 1,000 years were finished. So there's another resurrection that happens. And when the 1,000 years are expired, Satan's going to be loosed, and he's going to go out and deceive the nations.
exactly, Chad. Truth can't be held back. Truth is.
The knowledge hidden behind secret societies is the so-called esoteric knowledge. Knowledge that you can only find after some research and throughout the centuries has been only available for very small groups of initiates. However, for those who continue to investigate the truth, for those who understand it all in the right context, this information is now available. It seems to me that events worldwide and the obvious one-sided narration have now provided you all with enough context to understand the situation you're in. The world is a scam. It's a stage. Wake up and stop blindly accepting this nonsense. Speak out against it, as I am doing now, but above all, do it yourself in your world, in your personal daily world, where we all continue to confront this insanity. Additionally, this is also a message directed at the intelligence services themselves. The message is, stop what you are doing. This obvious and deliberate incitement of global tensions after you have already drained our complete financial system. Your only way out is now continue to destroy the whole world. The whole world has seen through your deception by now, I can tell you. And also a message to our so-called Western media. It is particularly sad if you still generally think that the mainstream person is still hypnotized by your madness. You could have found this out by, for example, enabling comments under your live videos or broadcasts, because then you would have learned from the many negative reactions that we, the now awakened citizens, see through your half-baked intelligence propaganda campaign. Just stop polluting the collective mindset in this way with your poison. Understand that even in prophecy, it is predicted that we, as free people, will overcome you. So witness the process of your downfall, or join the free people and begin to proclaim the truth. And the truth is harsh, deep, but it is something you can no longer ignore. You don't know what you don't know, but when you do, you know. For truth, immutable and resolute, demands acknowledgement. Ignorance may veil reality, but once illuminated, there is no turning back. The revelation awaits those bold enough to embrace it. A good day. Wake up.
There's a reason education sucks, and it's the same reason that it will never, ever, ever be fixed. It's never going to get any better. Don't look for it. Be happy with what you got. Because the owners of this country don't want that. I'm talking about the real owners now. The real owners, the big wealthy business interests that control things and make all the important decisions. Forget the politicians. The politicians are put there to give you the idea that you have freedom of choice. You don't. You have no choice. You have owners. They own you. They own everything. They own all the important land. They own and control the corporations. They've long since bought and paid for the Senate, the Congress, the state houses, the city halls. They got the judges in their back pockets. And they own all the big media companies, so they control just about all of the news and information you get to hear. They got you by the balls. They spend billions of dollars every year lobbying to get what they want. Well, we know what they want. They want more for themselves and less for everybody else. But I'll tell you what they don't want. They don't want a population of citizens capable of critical thinking. They don't want well-informed, well-educated people capable of critical thinking. They're not interested in that. That doesn't help them. That's against their interest. That's right. They don't want people who are smart enough to sit around the kitchen table to figure out how badly they're getting f***ed by a system that threw them overboard 30 years ago. They don't want that. You know what they want? They want obedient workers. Obedient workers. People who are just smart enough to run the machines and do the paperwork, and just dumb enough to passively accept all these increasingly jobs with the lower pay, the longer hours, the reduced benefits, the end of overtime, and the vanishing pension that disappears the minute you go to collect it. And now they're coming for your Social Security money. They want your fucking retirement money. They want it back so they can give it to their criminal friends on Wall Street. And you know something? They'll get it. They'll get it all from you sooner or later, because they own this place. It's a big club, and you ain't in it. You and I are not in the big club. And by the way, it's the same big club they use to beat you over the head with all day long when they tell you what to believe. All day long, beating you over the head in their media, telling you what to believe, what to think, and what to buy. The table is tilted, folks. The game is rigged, and nobody seems to notice. Nobody seems to care.
The Luciferians plant seeds through movies, shows, cartoons, video games, news, social media, into the minds of the masses. And then they wait for the right season to bring that which they have given through predictive programming and psychological warfare to come to pass. You know, William Shakespeare once said, "All the world is a stage." This is a man that is propagated throughout schooling systems. But did you know that the Freemasons highly esteem him as one of their own? So what if this was coded language? And what if the world truly is a stage where Luciferian actors deceive the masses 24 hours, 7 days a week? 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
And why is that woe to us? Because you people and 62 million other Americans are listening to me right now. Because less than 3% of you people read books. Because less than 15% of you read newspapers. Because the only truth you know is what you get over this tube. Right now, there is an entire generation that never knew anything that didn't come out of this tube. This tube is the gospel, the ultimate revelation. This tube can make or break presidents, popes, prime ministers. This tube is the most awesome God force in the whole godless world. And woe is us if it ever falls into the hands of the wrong people.
And if the illuminated ones highly esteem William Shakespeare as one of their own, then certainly they would believe the same philosophy, that the world is a stage and they must act and lie, put on shows, and trick the masses that are watching.
Followed the money, I found that it took me up the levels of a pyramid. Here we are at the bottom level going about our daily lives. Above us is government, people who are given a monopoly on force and use it to tax and control us whether or not we agree. But who controls them? At the next level are the corporations. Many would say that it is now corporations and not nation states that rule the world. They call it a corporatocracy.
Did you just hear what he said? He said it is now the corporations that rule and dominate in the world. This lines up perfectly with the prophecy of Revelation chapter 18, verse 23, that warns us about the abomination and how by sorcery will all the world be deceived by the beast. That word sorcery in the Greek is the word pharmakia. It's where you get the word pharmacy. Think real clear. What is from the pharmacy that is being pushed all over the world? But before that, it says that the merchants were the great men of the earth. Those that sold, those who have businesses would be the most powerful people, will be the chief people. That is what it is saying. Prophecy coming to pass, but most sadly don't see it.
At the next level are the corporations. Many would say that it is now corporations and not nation states that rule the world. They call it a corporatocracy. To acquire the world's resources and control the markets, this corporatocracy must have access to cheap money. The big corporations get their loans at special rates from the big banks, which means that those who control the major banks, the moneyed elite, ultimately control the corporations. As I've followed the money, I've learned that almost everything I once believed about money is simply not true.
This would explain why to the Luciferians, it is so important that everything is done as if it is on a stage. Because as we have told you in documentaries in the past, most of them have been taken down or removed because of the truth within them. But if you have seen certain videos, you would remember that we warned you about sigil magic and warned you about lesser magic. This is when they have to tell you what they're going to do in order to make the spell more powerful. Because the devil knows that you are created in the image of God. He has to get your permission and for you to agree for him to put a spell on you. But you see, there are certain gray areas where they can get away with it without telling someone they're putting a spell on them. And one of these ways is through Hollywood, using movies, TV shows, using video games, news, social media, because the mind is not looking at it as something literal, but to the illuminated ones, they are dead serious. So when you start to put the puzzle together and you see certain events that have taken place, and then you look into the past and find out they were using lesser magic and predictive programming before they did it. One great example would be that tragic day 2 metal birds would fly into 2 tall buildings in the city of New York. But I remember that my life changed when my understanding was opened and the Lord showed me how crafty the enemy is. I'll never forget when I seen this video. I'll never forget when I seen this video.
Get ready to read all these words on this page without making a mistake. Look at the letter at the end and remember the sound it makes. Get ready. Kite. Yes, kite. Get ready to read this word the fast way. Get ready. Kid. Yes. Sound it out. Get ready. Kid. Sound it out. Get ready. Kid. What word? Kid. Yes, kid. Boys and girls, sound this word out. Get ready. Steal. What word? Steal. Yes, steal. Read these words the fast way. Get ready. Play. Yes, play. Get ready. Must. Yes, must. Let's read these words the fast way without making a mistake. Get ready. Kite. Yes, kite. Get ready. Kit. Yes, kit. Get ready. Steal. Yes, steal. Get ready. Play. Yes, play. Get ready. Must. Yes, must. Go to your speaker reader up from under your seat. Open your book up to lesson 60 on page 150. Get ready to read all these words on this page without making a mistake. Look at the letter at the end and remember the sound it makes. Get ready. Kite. Yes, kite. Get ready to read this word the fast way. Get ready. Kid. Yes. Sound it out. Get ready. Kid. Sound it out. Get ready. Kid. What word? Kid. Yes, kid. Boys and girls, sound this word out. Get ready. Steal. What word? Steal. Yes, steal. Read these words the fast way. Get ready. Play. Yes, play. Get ready. Must. Yes, must. Let's read these words the fast way without making a mistake. Get ready. Kite. Yes, kite. Get ready. Kit. Yes, kit. Get ready. Steal. Yes, steal. Get ready. Play. Yes, play. Get ready. Must. Yes, must. Ready. Play. Yes, play. Get ready. Must. Yes, must. Go to this speaker. Kit. Yes, kit. Get ready. Steal. Yes, steal. Get ready.
Are you going to tell me that that is a coincidence? Or could it be the same way the Most High God is very precise, the way he commands things to be done? And he uses certain numbers and colors, and he has a reason for what he does. And if Lucifer wants to be like the Most High, then he is going to operate out of magic power instead of the power of God. He is going to operate out of sorcery. He has to do rituals that open up gateways to the darkness. So while 3,000 souls were sacrificed, the children unknowingly were chanting, strengthening the spell on that tragic day. But you have to understand that we all came into this world and were victimized by the brainwashing and the psychological warfare of the beast system. And this is something that they have been waiting and waiting and waiting for, because everything has to be done in a season of time. So as the highly esteemed Freemason once said, the whole world is a stage. These Luciferians have to continue the movie. They have to continue this great plan. But have you ever wondered why they're so fascinated with the black and white checkered floor? The same checkered floor that a game of chess is played on. And speaking of chess, this is a game that was invented a long time ago. It's a game that takes craftiness. It's a game that takes pre-planning and foreseeing moves and trying to outwit the opponent. It's a game where soldiers are sacrificed for the greater good of the victory. But have you ever considered that to the Luciferians, the whole world is a chessboard? And that the white square represents how they masquerade as messengers of light. The black squares represent who they really serve, which is the Prince of Darkness. And could it be that as they look at the world as a giant chessboard, have you ever considered that they're playing on both sides of the chess game? Have you ever heard of the Hegelian dialectic? What if all of the rulers of the world, kings and queens, presidents, dictators, truly do serve one master behind the closed doors in the darkness?